Today I'm going to be doing a lighter skin tone, and this is going to be more of an olive skin tone. I have requests to do a lighter skin tone, and this is the one I chose. She's a very glamorous actress, and looking at her, I try to see the colors that I would use. The first overwhelming color that I see, and I pretty much are picking out colors in her skin tone. I see this color right here is pretty dominant, and that's the olive color that I'm looking at. And for that color, and that'll probably pretty much be my base tone, is going to be this one right here. This one here is, let me see if I can read this, Harvest Gold, I believe. No, Bronze Yellow. This is Bronze Yellow. And lightly, I'll be working in Bronze Yellow around here. And it's really important for you to notice what kind of underlying skin tone a person has. That way you can pick the right pencils. With her, you see most of this being kind of like a greenish or bronzish yellow, like this right here. But I'd use it very lightly. Of course, we have white in the highlight right here. A bit of peach. Let me pull out my peach here. And it's very lightly peach, so I'll probably be working a little bit of the peach in with the bronze yellow. And then also you'll see a little bit of the peach coming in a little bit right here. And it's very, very faint where you'll see the peach. You'll see a little bit of in her nose, and that's going to be pretty much the peach. But I also see tan. Tan is working its way in here. Okay. And then the darker, getting closer away from the light, the darker skin tone that I'm seeing is more of a salmon color right here. And you also got to keep in mind that the lights are hitting them pretty heavy. Even in the eyes, you can see it's like hitting really hardcore on the model. So that also changes your skin tone, the colors of the lights that they use. Okay, so yellow might be thrown around in there a little bit just to soften up that bronze yellow. And I know I'll probably be in the darker tones right here. I'm not going to use black. I'm going to probably use more of a deep dark brown, and that's this color right here. This is dark brown, and I'll be using that in the darker spots of her face, the shadows, things like that. Let's see, what other colors would I use? So it's kind of like pick out your tones. Also doing her lips, it's kind of between a peach, not a peach, I'm sorry, a pink, like a bubblegum pink, and mauve. So I'm going to use, I'm going to use mauve right here. And I'll probably use a little bit of the pink. I got to get another bubblegum pink. But I'll probably use a little bit of that. Definitely see a little bit more of the salmon right here under her. It kind of looks like it's mixed in with the pink. Maybe a deep dark pink. A little bit of salmon, a little bit of pink, but a lot more pink than salmon. Okay. And let's see, I don't see it so much on this face. I had done another skin tone tutorial using this model right here, or rather actress. And you see how the predominant color that I had in this one was more of a tan and yellow. And the yellow in the background brings out more of the yellow in the face. So that's one of the things that you want to keep an eye out for is what is the base skin tone. A lot of her skin tones are the same ones that I have in front of me, but also I used a lot of tan and a lot of sand. Alright, so let's keep going. Okay, this is what I'm working with, and I'll go ahead and get started. Okay, for this tutorial I'm going to be using Bristol paper and the Crayola Colored Pencils, the Big 100, even though I don't use all 100. I'm going to take a page out, and I'll begin. First thing I'm going to do is do a quick drawing of the image I'm going to be working with.
I'm not going to put every single detail on there because the pencils will cover up some things, so I lay down just enough to give me an idea of where everything is. In this tutorial, I'm not going to be doing anything with the necklace. I'm coating the paper, the Bristol paper, with baby oil, just some baby oil that I bought at a dollar store, and just a brush, a sponge brush. The first thing I do is I waited an hour and I start hitting the highlights with the white pencil. Everywhere I think I see the whitest part of her face or hair, I start drawing that in there. It's not important to get all of it all at once, but just to make sure that you have it in there so you don't lose it. Okay, I'm starting with what I saw was the base tone, was with the bronze yellow, and then I follow through with the salmon, and I'm just trying to mix them in and trying to get a really good trying to match the tone that I see on the screen. Now, Crayolas are not as vibrant as Prismacolors and things like that, so what you'll need to do is you'll need to work in layers, and you'll be blending and adding other colors in order to get the colors that you need to get a richer tone. And on the side of her face there, I definitely noticed that I needed to mix in the peach with the bronze yellow to get the tone that I saw on the screen. And then also to make the salmon side of her face come out a little bit deeper and darker without it being cartoony, because these pencils are pretty bright. I had to tone it down with a little bit of blue. Because the light was hitting her face really hard, her nose was virtually non-existent, so I had to add a few things in there. Just to make sure that it popped out. And you just pretty much want to color what you see. Now I'm working in a lot of layers, and you notice I'm not using the blending stub until I get enough layers on there to blend together. And here I felt like I had enough layers to blend, so I added the stub. At certain points you may find that your paper, the baby oil dries and you're not getting the movement that you need, so it doesn't hurt to dip your blending stub into a baby oil to keep that movement going. If you do start rendering your picture a little earlier, while the paper is still wet, you may have a lot more movement of your colored pencil. And as it dries and you use the blending stub, you will find a little bit more on your blending stub. The colored pencil comes off, so you'll be adding that back in every now and then. Just be mindful of where your highlights are as you're rendering your picture. Now with the baby oil on here, it's easy to pick things up and move them around, so you got to be very careful where you lay your hands. And I'm pretty much just working those colors in as I see them. And another good rule of thumb is to keep an eye out for what side looks darker than the other. If you're unsure, just compare. Is this side darker than the other? Are they getting the same amount of light? And that will help you to figure out if you are on the right track, if one side is not dark enough. See, I'm adding blue to make it a little bit darker. And in order to do that with the colored pencils, you just want to use the complementary color. That's the opposite color on the color wheel in order to get that thicker, darker color. Now, when the paper is wet like it is, it's hard to burnish, and burnishing is when you push hard on it. So if you need to press harder to get more of the pencil onto the paper, you may want to wait for it to dry a little bit more. Now, I thought I was losing a bit of the salmon tone on the side of her face, so I added a little bit of red to that, and a little bit of orange, and just kind of blended that in with the bronze yellow. I'm adding the eyelashes, and I do that last because if I have to do any blending, it'll make the eyelashes come off. Now this is your image, so you have the freedom to add or take away from anything that you want. And there are times that when the light hits the face so hard that you won't be able to see the details very well. So sometimes you may have to go a little bit darker than your source image. Now I threw the outline or some of the dark around her head just to give me some reference on where things are. I wasn't ready to start on the hair per se, so I just added where the face ends and where the hair begins. Also keep in mind that the mouth is recessed, the lips, the teeth, I'm sorry, are going to be a little bit darker. So I used a little bit of gray to send them backwards, and that makes the lips pop out just a little bit more. Same thing with the eyes. I'll use a little bit of gray in the white of the eye because she does have the forehead that comes out, and the eyes cast a bit of a shadow as well to give the roundness. I tried to keep that going. Now it doesn't hurt to throw a little bit of some of the other colors into the face, like if I used mauve in one area or mauve, however you want to pronounce it, I would use it in another. Okay, so that pretty much completed the light skin tutorial. Starting on the hair, and I pretty much use the same technique. Brown is opposite of blue on the color wheel that I have, and it makes the deep dark brown that I'm going to use a little bit darker. The hair on the model that I have is various shades of brown, and you'll notice that once you start to apply your colored pencils, they only get so dark. They're not as rich, they're not as dark as Prismacolors or other colors. So you have to improvise to bring that richness to it. So what I'm doing here is just feathering out where the deepest, darker parts of the hair are going to be. And I'm leaving the neck part alone, pretty much because once the paper dries, I'll probably be doing a zentangle image on that part. I'm just going to save it for another video. So it'll look kind of weird. It'll be like this little white spot in the middle of her neck. I just haven't decided what kind of pattern I wanted to put on it before I finish the video. So you're again working in layers, and you don't want to draw every individual hair, but you do want your strokes to go in the direction of where the hair is going to be. If you're going against the strokes, like the hair is going down and out from the head to the outside, if you go against those, you'll be coloring it in. Like, so if you, instead of going horizontal or vertical, you go straight up and down, against the line. When you go against the line, it fills in the color, and you'll see me do that, and I'll point out when I do. But when you're going with the line, it just throws more strokes into it. So like right now I'm going with the line. And when I'm ready to add more depth to it, more color to it, I'll be going against the line, um, instead of because if you go with the line, you'll get rid of that stroke that you created. Now I'm emphasizing with the blue where the more darker spots are. See, now when I'm going with the line with this blending stub, it obliterates the line. But when I go against the line, instead of going diagonal, I go straight up and down. It doesn't lose the line, but it does smear the pencil so that I get more darkness, more of the color in there. I'm using mahogany. I'm using the dark brown. I'm using blue when I need it to get like even darker brown. And then I cover up that blue with the brown. And I'll just keep doing that over and over again until I get it as dark as I need it to go. And I'm leaving the top part lighter. And occasionally, you see I'm going with the grain on some of them and against it on the others. So I don't have to push hard in order to get a deep dark color. I just add the base color underneath, or rather the complementary color underneath. And then I'll add maybe a little bit of the mahogany. That's where you see where the reddish tones are. And then on one side of her face she had some of the yellow tones coming as a highlight from her hair. Now hair you can just keep going and going and going with this. It's just how much detail you want to put onto it. Just keep in mind that it's hard to add white highlights. I added them here and there, but you may lose them if you're not careful. So work in your layers. And I just add a little bit more to the neck. And still at this point I have no idea what kind of detail I want to put into that necklace. But I do want it to be like zentangle. I haven't done zentangle in forever. Alrighty, so I'm coming to the close on this image, and just let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Now this isn't true for all light skin tutorials. I mean, you just gotta look at your source image. What is the base tone? And work from there. Add your highlights, add the base tone, add your dark tones. Things that and try to stay away from black. Use black as a last resort. You can make your colors darker adding black, but try using a complementary color instead. Alrighty, so I will leave a listing of the pencils that I used, and the pencils can be used again for even a browner toned skin, a reddish toned skin. Just substitute that bronze yellow for maybe mahogany, maybe tan, and instead of using white, use the sand color. And that's some of the ways that you can accomplish lighter skin tones. Thank you for watching. Please like or subscribe, and let me know what you think. Thank you. Bye-bye.